Om Sai Ram. Chapter 4. Sai Baba's First Advent in Shirdi. Mission of the Saints. Shirdi, a holy thief. Personality of Sai Baba. Victim of Gauli Bua. Appearance of Vittal. Ksheerasagar's story. Dasaganu's bath in Prayag. Immaculate Conception of Sai Baba and his first advent in Shirdi. Three Vadas. In the last chapter, I described the circumstances which led me to write Sai Satcharita. Let me now describe the first advent of Sai Baba in Shirdi. Mission of the Saints. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that whenever there is a decay of dharma, righteousness, and a ascendancy of unrighteousness, I manifest myself for the protection of the virtuous and the destruction of the vicars, and for the establishment of righteousness, I manifest myself age after age. This is the mission of the Lord and the sages and saints who are his representatives and who appear at appropriate times and work in their own way to fulfill that mission. For instance, when the twice born, that is the Brahmins, Kshatriyas and the Vaishyas neglect their duties, and when the Shudras try to usurp the duties of other classes, when spiritual preceptors are not respected but humiliated, when nobody cares for religion instructions, when everybody thinks himself very learned, when people begin to partake of forbidden foods and intoxicating drinks, when under the cloak of religion people indulge in malpractices, when people belonging to different sects fight amongst themselves, when Brahmins fail to do sandhya and adoration, and the Orthodox leave the religious practices, when yogis neglect their meditation, when people begin to think that wealth, progeny, wife are their sole concern, and thus turn away from the true path of salvation, then the saints appear and try to set matters right by their words and action. They serve us as beacon lights and show us the path and the right way for us to follow. In this way, many saints, Nivrutti, Dhyanadev, Muktabai, Namdev, Gora, Gunai, Eknath, Tukaram, Narhari, Narsibhai, Sajan Kaisai, Savate, Ramadas, and various others did appear at various times to show the right path to the people, and so the present advent came as Sri Sai Baba of Shirdi. Shirdi, a holy thief. The banks of the river Godavari in the Ahmednagar district are very fortunate, for they gave birth and refuge to many a saint, prominent amongst them being Dhyaneshwar. Shirdi also falls in the Kopargam Taluk of the Ahmednagar district. After crossing the Godavari river at Kopargam, one gets on way to Shirdi. When you go 3 kilometers, 9 miles, you come to Ningom, from where Shirdi is visible. Shirdi is as famous and well known as the other holy places like Gangapur, Nisimvadi, Audambar on the banks of Krishna river. As the devotee Damoji flourished and blessed Mangal Vedha near Pandharpur, as Samartha Ramdas at Sajjangarh, and as Sri Narsimha Saraswati at Saraswati Wadi, so Sainath flourished at Shirdi and blessed it. Personality of Sai Baba. It is on account of Sri Sai Baba that Shirdi grew into importance. Let us see what sort of a personage Sai Baba was. He conquered this sansar, the worldly existence, which is very difficult and hard to cross. Peace or mental calm was his ornament. He was a repository of wisdom. He was a home of Vaishnava devotees, most generous like Karna amongst all, the quintessence of all essences. He had no love for perishable things and was always engrossed in self-realization, which was his sole concern. He felt no pleasure in the things of this world nor of the world beyond. His antarang heart was as clear as a mirror, and his speech always rained nectar. The rich or poor people were the same to him. He neither knew nor cared for honor or dishonor. He was the Lord of all beings. He spoke freely and mixed with all people, watched the actings and dances of Nach girls, and heard ghazal songs. Still, he served not an inch from Samadhi, the mental equilibrium. The name of Allah was always on his lips. While the world awoke, he slept, and while the world slept, he was vigilant. His inner self was as calm as the deep sea. His ashram could not be determined, nor his actions could be definitely determined, and though he had lived in one place, he knew all the transactions of the world. His darbar was imposing. He told hundreds of stories daily, Still, he served not an inch from his vow of silence. He always leaned against the wall in the masjid or walked morning, noon, and evening towards Lendi and Chavadi. Still, he at all times abided in the self. Though a Siddha, he acted like a sadhaka. He was a meek, humble, and egoless and pleased all. Such was Sai Baba, and as the soil of Shirdi was trodden by Sai Baba's feet, it attained extraordinary importance. As Dhyaneshwar elevated Alandi, Eknath did to Python, so Sai Baba raised Shirdi. Blessed are the grass, leaves, and stones of Shirdi, for they could kiss the holy feet of Sai Baba and take his dust on their head. Shirdi became to us devotees another Pandharpur, Jagannath, Dwaraka, Benares, Kashi, and Rameshwar, Bhadrikera, Nasik, Trayambakeshwar, Ujjain, and Mahakaleshwar or Mahabhaleshwar Gokarn. Contact of Sai Baba in Shirdi was like a study of Veda and Tantra. It quietened the sansar, the worldly consciousness, and rendered self-realization. The darshan of Sri Sai was a yoga sadhana, and talk with him removed our sins. Shampooing his legs was a bath in Triveni Prayag, and drinking the holy water of his feet destroyed our sins. To us his commands were Vedas, and accepting or eating his udhi, the sacred ashes, and prasad was all purifying. He was our Sri Krishna and Sri Ram, who gave us solace, and he was our Parabrahma, absolute reality. He was himself beyond the pair of dvandvas, the opposites, never dejected nor elated. He was always engrossed in his self as existence, knowledge, and bliss. Shirdi was his center, but his field of action extended far beyond to Punjab, Calcutta, North India, Gujarat, Dhaka, now in Bangladesh, and Konkan. Thus the name of Sai Baba spread far and wide, and people from all parts came to take his darshan and be blessed. By mere darshan, minds of people, whether pure or impure, would become quiet at once. They got there the same unparalleled joy that devotees get at Pandharpur by seeing Vitthal Rukubai. This is not an exaggeration. Consider what a devotee says in this respect. Dictum of Gauli Bhuva. An old devotee by name Gauli Bhuva, aged about 95 years, was our Kari of Pandari. He stayed for 8 months at Pandharpur and for 4 months Ashada to Kartik, that is now July to November, on the banks of Ganges. He had a donkey with him for carrying his luggage and a disciple as his companion. Every year he made a swari or a trip to Pandharpur and came to Shirdi to see Sai Baba, whom he loved most. He used to gaze at Baba saying, "This is Pandarinath Vitthal incarnate, the merciful Lord of the poor and helpless." This Gauli Baba was an old devotee of Vithoba and had made many a trip to Pandari, and he testified that Sai Baba was real Pandarinath. Vitthal himself appeared. Sai Baba was very fond of remembering and singing God's name. He always uttered Allah Malik, God is Lord, and in his presence made others sing God's name continuously day and night for all 7 days of the week. This is called Nam Saptah. Once he asked Dasagunu Maharaj to do the Nam Saptah. He replied that he would do it provided he was assured that Vitthal would appear at the end of the 7th day. Then Baba, placing his hand on his chest, assured him that certainly Vitthal would appear, but for that the devotee must be earnest and devout. The Dhankapuri Thakur of Thakurnath and the Pandharpur of Vitthal, the Dwaraka of the Ranchor Krishna, is here, that is in Shirdi. One need not go far out to see Dwaraka. Will Vitthal come here from some outside place? He is here. Only when the devotee is bursting with love and devotion, Vitthal will manifest himself here in Shirdi. After the Saptah was over, Vitthal did manifest himself in the following manner. Kaka Sahib Dikshit was as usual sitting in meditation after his bath. He saw Vitthal in a vision. When he went at noon for Baba's darshan, Baba asked him point blank, "Did Vitthal Patil come? Did you see him? He is very strong fellow, catch him firmly, otherwise he will escape if you are even a little inattentive." This happened in the morning, and at noon there was another Vitthal darshan. A hawker came here for selling 25 or 30 pictures of Vithoba. This picture exactly tallied with the figure that had appeared in Kaka Saheb's vision. On seeing this and remembering Baba's words, Kaka Saheb Dikshit was much surprised and delighted. He bought one picture of Vithoba and placed it in his shrine for worship. Bhagwantrao Kshirshagar story. How fond was Baba for Vittal worship was illustrated in Bhagwantrao Kshirshagar story. The father of Bhagwantrao was a devotee of Vithoba and used to make various the annual trips to Pandharpur. He also had an image of Vithoba at home which he worshipped. After his death, the son stopped everything, the wari, the worship, the Shraddha ceremony, etc. When Bhagwantrao came to Shirdi, Baba, on remembering his father, at once said, "His father was my friend, so I dragged him, the son, here. He never offered Naivedya, the offering of the food, and so he starved Vittal and me. So I brought him here. I shall demonstrate him now and set him to worship." Dasaganu's bath in Prayag. The Hindus think that a bath in the holy Tirtha of Prayag, where the Ganga and the Yamuna meet, is very meritorious, and thousands of pilgrims go there periodically to have the sacred bath there. Once Dasaganu thought that he should go to Prayag for a bath and came to Baba to get his permission for doing so. Baba replied to him, "It is not necessary to go so far. Our Prayag is here, believe me." Then, wonder of wonders, when Dasaganu placed his head on Baba's feet, out flowed streams of Ganga Yamuna water from both the toes of Baba. Seeing this miracle, Dasaganu was overwhelmed with feelings of love and adoration, and tears filled my eyes. Inwardly he felt inspired, and his speech burst forth into a song in praise of Baba and his Leelas. Immaculate Conception of Sai Baba and his first advent in Shirdi. Nobody knew the parents, birth or birthplace of Sai Baba. Many inquiries were made, many questions were put to Baba and others regarding this, but no satisfactory answer or information has yet been obtained. Practically, we know nothing about these matters. Namdev and Kabir were not born like ordinary mortals. They were found as infants in mother of pearls, Namdev being found on the bank Bhimarathi river by Gonai and Kabir on the bank Bhagirathi river by Thamal. Similar was the case with Sai Baba. He first manifested himself as a young lad of 16 years under a neem tree in Shirdi for the sake of Bhaktas. Even then, he seemed to be full of the knowledge of Brahma. He had no desire for worldly objects even in dreams. He kicked out Maya, and Mukti, deliverance, was serving at his feet. One old woman of Shirdi, the mother of Nana Chopta, described him thus: "This young lad, fair, smart and very handsome, was first seen under the neem tree seated in an asan. The people of the village were wonderstruck to see such a young lad practicing hard penance, not minding heat and cold. By day he associated with none, by night he was afraid of nobody. People were wondering and asking whence this young chap has turned up. His form and features were so beautiful that a mere look endeared him to all. He went to nobody's door, always sat near the neem tree. Outwardly he looked very young, but by his action he was really a great soul. He was the embodiment of dispassion and was an enigma to all. One day it so happened that God Kandhapa possessed the body of some devotee, and people began to ask him, "Deva, you please inquire what blessed father's son is this lad, and whence did he come?" God Kandhapa asked them to bring a pickaxe and dig in a particular place. When it was dug, bricks were found underneath a flat stone. When the stone was removed, a corridor was seen in which 4 Samis lights were burning. The corridor led to a cellar where cow-mouth-shaped structures, wooden boards, rosaries were seen. Khandoba said this lad practiced penance here for 12 years. Then the people began to question the lad about this. He put them off, telling that this was his guru's place, his holy vatan, and requested them to guard this well. The people then closed the corridor as before. As Ashwatha and Adamba trees were held sacred, Baba regarded this neem tree equally sacred and loved it most. Mahasapati and other Shirdi devotees regard this site as a resting place, as a samadhi sthan of Baba's Guru, and prostrate before it. 3 Vadas. The site with the neem tree and surrounding space was bought by Mr. Harivinayak Sathe, and on this site a big building style Sate's Vada was erected. This Vada was the sole resting place for pilgrims who flocked there. A platform was built around the neem tree and lofts with steps were constructed. Under the steps there is a niche facing south and devotees sit on the par platform facing north. It is believed that he who burns incense there on Thursday and Friday evenings will be by God's grace be happy. It is believed that he who burns incense there on Thursday and Friday evenings will by God's grace be happy. This Vada was old and dilapidated and needed repairs. The necessary repairs, additions and alterations have been made now by the Sansthan. Then after some years another Vada, Dikshit's Vada, was constructed. Kaka Sahib Dikshit, solicitor of Mumbai, had gone to England. He had injured his leg in an accident there. The injury could not got rid of by any means. Nana Sahib Chandorkar advised him to see Sai Baba. So he went to Sai Baba in 1909 and requested him to cure the lameness of his mind rather than that of his leg. He was so much pleased with the darshan of Sai Baba that he decided to reside in Shirdi. So he built a Vada for himself and other devotees. The foundation of this building was laid on 10/12/1910. On this day, 2 important events took place. 1. Mr. Dada Sahib Kapade was given permission to return home, and 2. The night Aarti at the Chavdi was started. The Vada was completed and was inhabited on the Ramanavami day in 1911 with due rites and formalities. 3. Then another Vada or palatial mansion was put up by the famous millionaire Mr. Bhuti of Nagpur. A lot of money was spent on this building, but it was all well utilized, as Sai Baba's body is resting in this Vada, which is now called the Samadhi Mandir. The site of this mandir formerly had a garden which was watered and looked after by Baba. 3 Vadas thus came up where there was none formerly. Of these, Sate's Vada was most useful to all in the early days. The story of the garden, which was attended by Sai Baba with the help of Vaman Thatya, the temporary absence of Sai Baba from Shirdi, and his coming again to Shirdi with the marriage party of Chand Patel, the company of Devi Das, Janaki Das and Jangagir, Baba's wrestling match with Mohiddin Tamboli residing in the masjid, love of Mr. Dingle and other devotees, and other incidents will be described in the next chapter. Bow to Sri Sai, peace be to all.